Hello MS-GOSSers! I'm giving a lot of Dynasty realness today. I've got my shoulder pads on. I hope you enjoy this Dynasty realness. So part 2 of Prague. And I'm going to talk about the people that I met there because they were fabulous people. I have met a few people with multiple sclerosis, but I've not met obviously loads of people because where will you meet a load of people with MS? I mean, I'm sorry if I don't mention everybody's name, but I met some people that really gave me a sense of reality about this condition, living with this condition, and it was nice to see what the future will hold for me. You know, the likes of Zoe and Casey and Kirsty and Karen and Scott and Hayley. Oh my God, there's so many people. And Alice. You gave this condition a realness, and it didn't scare me because you all had it for a while and you were all just owning it and doing something in your way of creating awareness, and that made me feel bloody great. So I want to talk about as well some of the talks that we had on the Sunday. Yeah, some of the talks we had on Sunday. We had a talk with a guy called Connor Curley, and he was a dietitian, and he was talking about good diet. Basically, he was an MSer, he had MS, which was great. A lot of those speakers actually had multiple sclerosis, which kind of, you know, they were actually practicing what they preach, which was kind of really useful to know. But anyway, he was talking about diet and, you know, things that aren't very good for us as people with MS, like saturated fats, having your 5 a day. He was talking about alcohol and drinking, and, you know, because I think there was a speaker who was like, you cannot drink alcohol. And I think that upset a few people because they were like, but I do. And yeah, why shouldn't you? And he was saying, yeah, you can drink alcohol, but you obviously like just don't go overboard, but that's pretty much standard. I felt like a lot of the talks were, anybody could listen to them and feel inspired and feel great. It didn't just have to be people with MS. But he, aside from all the information he was giving, he just had a very, very good energy. And I think like the next day he was flying to Australia. You know, his whole personality was very enthusiastic. And I loved that. That was really useful. More than anything he was saying, the way that he was, I found really useful. And the fact he was jetting to Australia the next day, amazing. We had a talk called Love, Sex and Magic. And this was with a sex therapist, and her name was Moira. And she was very interesting. I felt like a lot of what she was saying could apply to everybody, not just people with MS. However, she was saying that it's not to do necessarily with your MS, like the reason why you won't get into a relationship or you can't get into a relationship. It's more to do with your self-esteem. So instead of looking at yourself when they reject you, think, God, I don't want to be with you anyway because you're rejecting me. You're rejecting me because of something I have no control over. I get that, and I understand everything she was saying, and I appreciate that. But for me, I just thought, no, but it's not that simple. If you get rejected from somebody because you're in a wheelchair, it's really hard to be like, well, I don't want you anyway. It's really hard not to feel a sense of like rejection, and that rejection makes you feel like shit. Really black and white the way that she was putting it. And life isn't black and white. I think the overall experience of Prague has made me feel enlightened. It's a new word because I'm used to saying fabulous or brilliant or something like that. So enlightened. I feel like I've got more information, which is a good thing. The best part of it was meeting other people with multiple sclerosis and seeing where they are in their journey, and talking about the different types of care that people are getting as well from different countries. I mean, we didn't just solely talk about MS. And also I felt like I'm not going to be your friend just because you have MS. If we don't have a connection, then we don't have a connection. But that wasn't the case. I actually just got on really well with people, and I wish that, you know, we'd had another day of just kind of mixing and just doing things that didn't actually require us to sit down and listen to people. That would have been really cool. And if you do it in the future, I think that's a really good idea, because on the first day we had lunch together and everybody wore like little badges with different colours on, and then whatever colour somebody else was wearing, you would go and sit with them. Whatever colour badge they were wearing, you would go and sit with them. That was cool, but that was only happened like once, and we should have done that a few more times. That would have been really interesting, just to mix with people from other countries instead of sticking to like what you know, which is fine. But that's the one thing I would suggest as next year, is more activities where we are able to mix and not necessarily just listening to different talks, which is great, but just that's my critique. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful. I'm loving you talking to me. It's been really, really helpful listening to what you've got to say. It's Christmas. So excited for Christmas. I mean, I really am. And I'm going home to the UK this year and I can't wait. Anyway, in the meantime, I'll see you, I won't see you at all this week. Don't know why I said that. I'll see you next week. But comment, let me know what you thought. Let me know if you've got any advice or any tips, or if what you said, I don't know, just talk to me. Anyway, have a good week. Bye.